Who owns the corporation? It's a question that features in a discussion in our online course, The Leadership Reset, in the session on the role of business in society. Most people will say the shareholder owns the corporation, but most shareholders are transient and don't act like owners. Indeed, the average length of holding time for a publicly listed stock has dropped from 5 years in 1976 to just about 5.5 months in 2020. So shareholders act more like investors, even speculators and gamblers, than owners. Many stakeholders actually demonstrate a greater degree of ownership than shareholders. So employees, suppliers often demonstrate greater loyalty. But shareholders retain the primacy of place for the claims on corporate profit as compared to other stakeholders. Agency theory is still what dominates our thinking around corporate governance, that tension between owners and managers or their agents based on private property and really the primacy of financial capital, as compared to non-financial capital inputs, natural capital, social capital, human capital, etc., which are not valued equally. Some are advocating for stakeholder theory and even stakeholder capitalism, which emphasizes a wider range of inputs into decision making. Larry Fink of BlackRock has emphasized this in his recent letter. It's talked about at the World Economic Forum, McKinsey talks about it, and many of the business schools. But let's not forget, BlackRock is a fiduciary to its shareholders or to its clients who are shareholders in the company, and they are therefore not emphasizing stakeholders' financial interests. So why does it matter? Well, ownership in the company determines how a business's impacts are realized. Would they reinvest in R&D, perhaps technologies to minimize their carbon footprint, upgrade their facilities to keep workers safe and comfortable? Would they save money and prepare for a rainy day? Many did not in advance of COVID. Or do they prioritize paying a dividend to shareholders, buying back their shares to keep the share prices high? Shareholder activism, many are looking to shareholder activism for environmental and social issues. There were some 348 proposals at the top 3,000 companies last year, which were related to environment and social issues. But many shareholders are also emphasizing the business of the business rather than environmental performance. The CEO of Danone was famously ousted by shareholders who felt that he was spending too much time on sustainability issues. Last month, a major shareholder at Unilever attacked the company for spending too much time on purpose and sustainability and not enough on the underlying drivers of the business. So, should the corporation serve shareholder interests or stakeholder interests? Does it even really matter? Ultimately, the company needs to operate within the rules of the game, which is set by the government, enforced by the regulator, and not by companies themselves. This is a discussion which we tackle in the role of business in society. We start our online course again next Wednesday, the 16th of March, and it involves a 2-hour live facilitated session every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. We hope that you'll join us.